Hey all, it's David Ducker coming back at you, and today I'm going to be talking about grappling rules and the way I do them, my house rules for a grappling system. There's a whole lot of different grappling rules out there. Some are more complex, some are less complex. Most are more complex though. So I'm just going to move through how I usually do them. So basically, it is a pyramid. It's kind of based on my jiu-jitsu experience, which is not a huge amount, so I'm not saying I'm an expert at jiu-jitsu, but this is how a lot of it was explained to me. Is you basically have a triangle. At the very top, you've got your finishing moves, the moves that will win you a fight. And at the very bottom, you've got your transition moves, moves that allow you to get up and climb that ladder, or climb that pyramid, so that you can win the fight. So usually, the way I move through is you have the clinch, and then you have we'll call it a double underhook, and then that will lead you to hopefully a takedown. And from the takedown, you're on the ground now, and on the ground you'll go from grappling to a mount. And this kind of goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 5-step process to move through. So most systems that I play with, you get 2 actions per round. So potentially you could, sort somebody out within 3 rounds by grappling with them. And I run it all just with opposed tests. So if you want to start grappling someone, you have to start by clinching them, grabbing them, getting your hands on them, counting that as a clinch. So, grab the arm, grab the shoulder, get the goozle, just grab their neck. You could even just grab a leg, an ankle, or a knee. Right, so that's the clinch. Now the grapple has started. And it's an opposed test, so you roll to succeed. They roll against you. In most systems, not all systems have opposed tests, but they roll against you. If you succeed, you've got them clinched. And then with your second action, you can say, I want to move from the clinch to the double underhook. And it's not always a double underhook. It depends on how cinematic you want to be. It could even be reversed if you're behind them. I mean, it could be the rear waist lock or full Nelson could be acceptable as well, depending on your degree of realism. I mean, it could be, the double chicken wing. It could be a gorilla press over your head. It could be, a scoop and you pick them up, or whatever you want. But it's the position before you're able to slam them or take them down to the ground. So again, opposed test. So I've got him clinched. I want to now get him into the double underhook. So if you succeed, you're now got him in the double underhook. If he succeeds, then you have failed, but you still have him clinched. Usually you get 2 actions, so it moves over to his turn. So he could say, okay, well, I'm clinched now, so I'm going to break the clinch. So I'm going to do it, again, an opposed test. So if I can grapple my way out, that's great. Or you could say, well, I'm clinched, but it's like we are in a clinch. So we're already, this high up the pyramid. Instead of de-escalating, I want to escalate. So I'm going to try to take control and get him with a double underhook. It's my turn. So, again, opposed. And if you succeed, you've moved from the clinch to the double underhook, and you have him double underhooked. It's excellent. After the double underhook, or the scoop, or the full Nelson, or whatever, then comes a takedown, or a slam, or a pile driver, whatever. If a suplex, if you're doing a more advanced, more cinematic style to your game. So again, opposed test. You succeed, you put him down to the ground, you've maintained your grapple. If he succeeds, you have simply failed to do this. Then it comes back around. So let's say you've succeeded. You're both on the ground It's his turn. You're grappled, and he says he wants to, let's say he wants to de-escalate. I want to move off the ground because I'm not liking this. So you roll again. You succeed. So you are grappling around. He stood up, but you still have the double underhook position. And he says, oh, okay, well, I'm standing. We are double underhooked. I have him. He has me. It's an equal step. So he's thrown me. I've stood up. We're still grappling. I'm going to try to throw him now. Opposed test. Let's say you did throw him. So you've moved back through. And then we can go back to his turn again. So he might say, we're on the ground. This is back where I was hoping to be at anyway if he had failed. So let's go through and I'm going to try to get a mount on him. So you get opposed, succeed at your mount. So now you're sitting on top of him, on his chest, on his back, if he's face down in the belly. And now you can execute, the finishing maneuver. If you're on top, that could be a cross armbar, or it could be just ground and pound, because with the full mount, the ground and pound is very, very difficult to escape from. If you're behind it, it's going to be that sleeper hold. If you're keeping it realistic style. If you're not, you can be putting him with the London Dungeon, can be the cross-face chicken wing, can be the scorpion deathlock. It can be whatever you want it to be. But basically, that's how I move through. The grapple is essentially moves through until you get that finishing hold. Whoever climbs to the top of the pyramid first wins. So you want to continue to escalate it. Now, at one point in this scenario, he actually de-escalated. So why would you do that? Well, that would be if you have some feats. Again, this is more advanced, but let me just mention it. You don't have to use the feats. You could do it just like I said. It's a pyramid. Whoever gets to the top first is the winner. Or if you get to the bottom again, you've broken apart from each other. And you can describe this to create a lot of drama and excitement. But if you do want to add in some feats or qualities or whatever you want to call them, talents, then you could say every time I escalate, I deal damage. Every time I de-escalate, I deal damage. Or maybe it's just when I throw them, I deal damage, a lot of damage. So you can add those feats in there. And then so part one is just that basic concept. Part two is the talents or the feats. I deal damage or I avoid damage if he has that feat, whatever it is. Part three would be dirty boxing, striking from the clinch. So I'm going to grab his head and pound away on it. Or I'm going to get the double underhooks and start throwing knees into his shin or his thigh, his gut, whatever. So the way I would usually do this is, instead of advancing on that triangle, instead of advancing on the triangle up or down, if you just want to deal damage, then again, just an opposed check, and you can deal your damage. It'll depend on your system, of course. If you're running a Chronicle system, which we are right now, it's really easy to just get damage out of a skill test. So say, I have 3 in grappling. I roll 3 dice. He has, we'll do opposed. So he has 2 in grappling. He rolls 2 dice. The difference for every 3, that's going to be 3 damage from me because I have 3 in grappling. If you're doing Warhammer where it's percentile, then you could say, okay, I try to deal damage. I roll my percentile. I succeeded. So we're just going to do my unarmed damage. So it's a D5 plus my strength. You take that damage, deduct your toughness or what have you. It's pretty easy to get through that. And you can describe that, what you're doing. If you have the double underhook and you want to start headbutting him, repeatedly. If you have the double underhook, maybe you want to say, I'm going to bear hug him. I'm just going to crush him. And that's how I'm dealing the damage. Whatever you want to do. It could be, I got he's got me double underhook, and I'm going to slip around and get his head into a guillotine and try to bust his neck with that. I managed to, I only managed to herniate his disc, but we did some damage. So that's basically how I do grappling. Got the 3 systems. You've got the triangle, so you want to get to the top, which goes through the clinch, and then you grab the throw, then you're grappling on the ground, which could be side mount, it could be in guard, or it could be north-south or whatever, half guard. And then at the very top you get the mount or the rear mount, and from there it's over. If you watch UFC, you know this. From there it is over. A very high percentage of the time. So that's concept 1. Concept 2, add the feats in. So we're dealing damage as we're moving on the triangle. That's the basic one. You could make a lot of custom feats for that. And then concept 3 is the dirty boxing, the ground and pound. The squeezing, the grinding of your forearm into their nose, whatever it is. So that's how I do grappling in my game. I find it more descriptive than a lot of systems. And because it's descriptive, you remember it. You know what step you're at. And it's worked great for us so far. So I'd love to hear how you do grappling, what you think of this grappling system, or if you've seen really bad grappling systems, or just anything related to grappling. That's what these comments are under this video. Until then, just have yourself a good day. Cheers.